this session, the subject is the real nature of the self. And if I were to pick one session which is most important in the whole, in all the talks that I'm going to give, this would be it. This is the central, this contains the core of the teaching, central part of the teaching. This answers the question, what am I? The teaching of Advaita Vedanta can be summarized very easily. In fact, the Mahavakyas, the so-called great sentences, Tat Tvamasi, well known, that thou art, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am Atma Brahma, this very self is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma, this consciousness that we feel within, this is Brahman. All of them, they teach the same thing. The core of Advaita Vedanta is included, encapsulated in these great sentences. But for them to work, you have to start not with Brahman out there, but Brahman within. The inquiry has to start with what we are, into investigation into the self. Not an investigation into the world or investigation into God, investigation into what I am. The door to enlightenment lies in here, within. All the great techniques. All right, as we go on this session, we're going to do it somewhat differently. It's not just going to be informative, enlightening. It's not going to be something that is, you study it and you take notes and you learn something, and then afterwards you're supposed to go and do something. So if you read a book on yoga, say Hatha Yoga, it's no good unless you do Hatha Yoga. If you learn puja, it's no good unless you go out and do puja every day. So usually knowledge is meant for, you learn it and then you have to put it into practice. Again, this is not the case with Advaita Vedanta. This is an important thing to learn. Shankaracharya spends page after page in his commentaries pointing out the difference between jnana and karma, knowledge and action. In Advaita Vedanta and Advaita Vedanta alone, knowledge is the point. Why is knowledge the point? Because if ignorance is the problem, the solution is knowledge. If I'm walking down a street, and the classic example of mistaking a rope for a snake, and and then I see a snake, but there really isn't a snake, it's just a rope. Then the solution is to see the rope as a rope. Will it work if I take a stick and try to chase the snake away? No. That snake is not going to go. Will it work if I start praying to God, oh God, take the snake away? No, it's not going to go. God is going to say, what snake? There isn't any snake for me to take away. If you take up a stick and scare away the snake, what's going to get scared? There's no snake to scare away. It's only knowledge that's going to work. And this knowledge is not a matter of practice. If you try to put Advaita Vedanta into practice, there is a problem at the very source itself. We haven't understood what Advaita Vedanta is. This is something that is discussed in the traditional teachings of Vedanta in the schools among monks in the Himalayas. See, there's a difference between the terms they use. One is called Sadhyadvaita and Siddhadvaita in Sanskrit. I'll explain. A non-duality that is to be achieved, and an ever accomplished, ever achieved non-duality. A non-duality that is to be achieved, and an accomplished, ever present, ever achieved non-duality. What does it mean? One is all was one with Brahman before the creation of the universe. Then this universe was created, and we jivas were sent forth by Brahman according to our past karma from. You might ask, if the universe was not created, how can we exist, and how can we have past karmas? But remember, the Hindu view, cosmological view, is cyclical. We have existed in countless universes in the past, and we all have past karma. And so when a new universe is created, we are sent out again. As bodies evolve, we inhabit different living bodies. Jivas get different experiences according to our own past karmas. So, and we feel that, all right, when I become interested in spiritual life, before the creation of the universe, everything was one with God. And maybe after the universe is destroyed, after the final end of the universe, we'll all become one with God again. I was one with God, I am not one with God. It seems so obvious. Really, I'm not one with God. I don't see God anywhere. So I'm not one with God. But probably after some time, the dissolution of the universe, billions of years hence, maybe I'll be one with God. This is oneness which is to be achieved. Isn't there a faster way? Well, we'll be told that you meditate on God, pray to God, and by the grace of God and by your own efforts, and by the grace of God, one day you'll be one with God. There are devotional forms in Vaishnavism. There are forms of enlightenment, of freedom called Sayudhya Mukti. Freedom which is oneness with the Lord. You attain a kind of oneness with the Lord. But it is attainable. You are not one with God, but you can become one with God. That's not what Advaita Vedanta is about. If that was the non-duality we're talking about, then there were things to be done. There's meditation to be done, there is prayer to be done, there is a lot of spiritual practices which have to be done so that one will finally attain to oneness with one's beloved Lord. That is attainable, to be attained oneness, to be attained non-duality, not what Advaita Vedanta talks about. Often people mistake it. I am separate from God, I have to become one with God. Whatever that is, that's not Advaita. I am in a dualistic, people think that. I am now in dualism, in a dualistic universe, and after enlightenment it will be non-dual. No, not non-dualism, not Advaita. This is what is called, in Sanskrit, Sadhya Advaita. Sadhya means to be achieved, a goal to be achieved. If you have a goal to achieve, then you need a sadhana, a method. Sadhana means a practice, a method. You want to go there, so you need a car to go there. So the place you want to go to is the sadhya, the thing to be attained. And the way you take, the method you adopt is the sadhana, practice. When there is a non-duality, oneness to be achieved, then there will be practices to achieve it also. And it's quite obvious, there's something to be done, so there must be a way of doing it. And then you have to do it, and then you will get oneness. Not Advaita. This is not Advaita. Many people think that. Advaita is radically different from this. Advaita is this. It is called Siddha Advaita, an ever accomplished non-duality. It's already there. It's right here, right now, and it is we ourselves. So if it's an already accomplished Advaita, what does Vedanta do? What's Vedanta about then? It's already done. So a Vedanta, they use the word Gyapakam. It tells us about it. It points it out. You don't see it. You don't recognize it. You don't notice it. You don't know it. All Vedanta has to do is tell us about it. Point it out to us. When we become enlightened, it won't be like, oh, I was a miserable jiva, a limited being, human being or some being, and suffering so much. Now after all these spiritual practices, now I'm enlightened. I'm one with infinite existence, consciousness, bliss. No. It doesn't work that way. Advaita doesn't work that way. When you are enlightened, you will immediately feel, oh, I am Brahman, the infinite existence, consciousness, bliss, and I always was. I didn't become Brahman. I always want this. How come I never saw it? Swami Vivekananda has a talk, he calls it, it's called the open secret. It's a secret, but it's also an open secret. It's staring at our face. And we need to see it, recognize it. All Vedanta do is point it out. Therefore, when the pointing out is done by Vedanta, when the teaching is given by Vedanta, that itself is the practice. These are things, certain inner understanding I'm giving, which is not really, often not known, and people tend to misunderstand. So, don't misunderstand. I'm not speaking out against practices. All practices are useful. They have, look at the words, useful. You have something to be accomplished. Then you have things which are useful to you because they help you to accomplish it. But it's not to be accomplished, then what is useful to you? Nothing. So there are practices, we'll talk about that later. But when the pointers are given, they are themselves the practice. There is no other practice of Advaita other than that. What I'm leading up to is, why is this session important? So this session is important because here I will share with you the core pointing out techniques of Advaita Vedanta, where we not only learn, but we try to see for ourselves what Vedanta is talking about. That's what Vedanta is all about. How Vedanta works. Let me share the classic Indian story with you and show you how it works. This is the story of the 10 people who crossed the river. We have heard that, many of us have heard that. But I'm going to analyze it and match it to our spiritual life, how Vedanta works. The story itself is well known. 10 friends, they were going on a journey and they crossed a river, and after crossing the river, they thought, have we all crossed or did somebody drown? Let us count. And so one of them counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God, the 10th person is drowned. The 10th person is dead. Our friend died. He's drowned. The others say, let me try. And they did try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're right. The 10th person is not there. Obviously, they were not counting themselves. And they sit down and they start crying until the passerby asks, why are you crying, my friends? Oh, sir, what a tragedy. Our friend drowned. How do you know your friend drowned? We were 10 people and we crossed and now we are 9 people. And of course, this man must have counted them all. He said, how do you know you're 9 people? We counted, sir. Then this man says, oh, don't worry. The 10th person is there. And they calm down enough to ask, where? We believe you. You seem to be a good man. But where is the 10th person? Wait, I'll show you. He asks one of them, count. I counted. Humor me, count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this man goes and takes him by the hand and turns it. Thou art the 10th. In Sanskrit, Dashamastvamasi. Thou art the 10th. 10. And this man goes, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, the 10th person is there. What joy. Wonderful. The 10th person is not drowned. The others say, let me try. And they also count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, the 10th person is there. And they are so happy. All right. In one of the chapters in Panchadashi, 7 stages of spiritual journey, according to Advaita, according to non-dualism. 7 stages. Look at the 7 stages. First is ignorance. Ignorance, stage 1. You don't know that the 10th person is there. You don't know. The person does not know, that the one who is counting does not know of the existence of the 10th person. Not knowing, ignorance. Then what happened next? Out of ignorance came error. The 10th person is dead. Can't find the 10th person, don't know. So 10th person is drowned. Error. 10th person is dead. Error. So stage 2, error. Stage 3, suffering, sorrow. They sit and wail and weep. Why? Because their friend drowned. Sorrow. That sorrow, another name for that is samsara. Samsara, suffering. And then, when the wise person comes and teaches them, don't worry, there the 10th person is there. Where they don't know yet. Where they can't find, they have absolutely no idea. But they believe that person. That is called indirect knowledge. Paroksha jnana in Sanskrit, indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge. I'll apply all this to our life. Wait, it's not about 10 people. Indirect knowledge. Stage 4. Stage 5 is when the person asked him to count and then turn the hand inwards. That intuitive realization, I am the 10th. That is called direct knowledge or direct realization. Aparoksha anubhuti, direct realization. Stage 5. Stage 6, immediately after the direct realization, what happens? The error that the 10th person has ground goes. Removal of the error. Error dispelled. Error is lost. Error is dispelled. Brahmanasha or Adhyasanasha, that is dispelled. The error is dispelled. That is 6. And the 7th one is sorrow is gone. The sorrow is gone. 7th one, all that weeping and wailing disappears. There is no more cause for sorrow. Dukkhanasha. In Sanskrit, dukkhanasha. The removal of dukkha, the total eradication of suffering. You might also include there the dawning of joy or completion. Purnatva, completion. 7 stages. Stage 1, ignorance. We do not know of Brahman, Atman, that I am the infinite existence, consciousness, bliss. I do not know. Stage 1, ignorance. In Sanskrit, ajnana. Stage 2, tell me the name. Error. What is the error? I am body mind. I am. That cannot be dispelled. I know. I exist. I am. But what am I? I am body and mind. This psycho-physical entity. Body-mind complex. I am this one. Quite obviously. Not obviously. It's an error. Just like the 10th person drowned, this is an error. I am body-mind. I am this being. It's an error. Third, stage 3? Sorrow. I am unhappy. Why are you unhappy? Oh, because I need to lose weight. I am fat, or I'm poor, or nobody loves me, or I am a failure, or so many problems. My boss is mean to me. Relationship problems, financial problems, physical problems, mental problems, problems and problems. A sea of problems. Suffering. Samsara. In some places, Shankaracharya gives a vivid description. I'm caught, and I'm going towards death. Poverty ails me, and sickness ails me, and my child disobeys me. So, third, samsara, suffering. Dukkha, suffering. Fourth, can you close the door? Yeah. That's done. All right, that's done. He's closed the door. Not quite yet. Let me again open it. So, samsara is stage 3. Stage 4 comes. Yeah. Stage 4 comes. Tell me, what's stage 4? Indirect knowledge. I read Vedanta, go to the Vedanta retreat, and I am told that I am not the body, not the mind, I am existence, consciousness, bliss, I am the witness, body and mind problems do not affect me. All of that. I read the books, I take courses, I meditate, I study, and I say, Swami, I have understood intellectually, but then what is to be done now? All those things. Even when I say, I understood intellectually. I got it, Swami, but now it went away again. Again, indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge. From the texts, from the teachers, the knowledge that we get. I am Brahman, that knowledge. Like the teacher, that person said, the 10th person is there, don't worry. The texts and the teachers tell us, don't worry, you are Brahman. You are that infinite existence. But we don't feel it, we don't know it yet. Stage 4. Stage 5? Direct knowledge. Aparokshanubhuti. When that man pointed it out, showed him that the counting was done, and finally, thou art the 10th. 10. Direct knowledge. That is what Vedanta is supposed to do. It gives you indirect knowledge first. This is what is the reality. Don't know it yet, but now it has to be pointed out. That turning. That's what we're going to do now. So if you want to bail out, this is the time. This is the time when the game of life comes to an end. So that pointing out, that's the 5th stage. The direct, intuitive, first-person realization. Oh my God. Oh my God, I am God. That realization inside. So that's done by the pointing out instructions. The somebody's phone is on?
Yeah.
All right. So the pointing out instructions, that is the 5th stage. As a result of that, what will happen? Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, that realization comes. And then the 6th stage. Tell me the 6th stage? Removal of error. Then I am body and mind, I am subject to birth and death, and this error, I am body-mind complex. This error is removed forever. I know that I am not the body, not the mind. It's direct, not that I'm something I've read, something I've given intellectual assent to, but I see directly. And then 7th? Dukkhanasha, the eradication of sorrow and attainment of bliss. Eradication of sorrow and attainment of bliss. Forever I realize I am beyond sorrow and I am complete. So the crucial stage is what? The 5th stage. That direct knowledge. That's where this comes in. What we're going to do now, it comes in there. All of the other are leading up to this, the direct knowledge. The pointers that we find in Advaita Vedanta, they all they do this. They investigate into the nature of the self, into what am I. So for example, Taittiriya Upanishad. It says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman, the ultimate reality, is existence, consciousness, infinite. Infinite existence consciousness is Brahman. But where is this infinite existence consciousness? It says, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Paramedyoman. The one who realizes that, this is the translation, one who realizes that in the sacred space of the heart, which is a poetic way of saying, I am that. Where is that Brahman? Here. I am that. One who realizes that. And then the result, So ashnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipaschiteti. That one attains the fulfillment of all desires by that knowledge of Brahman. See the results 6 and 7, stage 6 and 7. But that, how do you do that? And then the Taittiriya Upanishad goes through the process of Pancha Kosha Vichara, the method of the 5 sheets of the human personality. The Mandukya Upanishad goes through the method of Avasthatraya Vichara, the method of the 3 states of waking, dreaming and deep sleep. In Drigdrishya Viveka, that book we saw, the distinction between the discernment of the seer and the seeing. All of these, discernment of seer and seeing, Drigdrishya Viveka method. Panchakosha Vichara, the discernment of the Atman from the 5 sheets of the human personality. Avasthatraya Vichara, the discernment of the one witness of the waking, dreaming, deep sleep. All of them are meant to go and answer this question, who am I, what am I? They are all pointers. They are all pointers. So what I am going to do now is, I have extracted from all these techniques some pointers. I am going to take 5. I am going to share it with you. these 5. What we are going to do is, as I share it with you, put it through 3 steps. The process to enlightenment has 3 steps. 3 steps. Step 1, the traditional, Advaitic, Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, hearing, reflecting, and meditating, but do it this way, practically. Step 1, you have to ask yourself, what did he say? Can I repeat back to myself what he said? Step 1. If you can repeat back to yourself what was taught, what is the method, then you've completed step 1. Step 2. Do I understand it? Is it on? It's not.
No, when I changed.
Yes.
Now it's working.
Now it's working. Now it's working.
No.
No?
It's fine.
If you can't hear me,
It works.
let me know. Okay. Step 2, you must ask yourself that do I get it? Stage 1, do I what was the teaching? Can I repeat the teaching to myself, to my own satisfaction? Third question you should ask, is it a fact? Is it a fact? Is it real? Real means real to you, right now. Is it real? Do I see it? Is it real to me? That is, if you can say yes to all these 3, that I can repeat the teaching, yes, I understand it, yes, to myself I have got clarity, and for me it's a fact. I can see it as a fact. Then the pointer has worked. In fact, if you can seriously say it's a fact, you're enlightened. Yes. Or at least a genuine glimpse into our real nature.